You see, yesterday we had complaints. We turned up the mics. Now we're booming in place. Welcome to the afternoon meeting. We'll just start. I see facilities have updates. Go right ahead.
Okay, Savannah Clement, Public Services. So today I just have on, my first item is the AEDA HOJ feasibility agreement or feasibility proposal. I brought this to the board last week. So you do have copies, but I wanted to bring it up again just to make sure if you did have follow-up questions or there's something else we needed to address. I did not have the board sign it at that time. Kind of wanted to wait and make sure, they did okay it, both commissioners, but I just want to make sure we're okay with you. And then also the one outstanding question I had that Commissioner Dahl had directed us to do was establish a timeline, which I've asked of them. I just have not received one back. So I won't bring it for signature until we have a solid timeline. So.
Okay. Is it the timeline as far as how long it's going to take?
To get the, yes,
Yeah.
to get the study back,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
But the reason I asked on this, and I don't even know if this is reasonable, but when we head back to Washington DC, I'd like to have
Oh, yeah.
something when we meet with those folks. So that was the reason for the question, but I'm not sure it's reasonable.
It would be great to have though, so
Yeah.
I'll push for that if I can.
Yeah.
There's no questions on that. I will move on to the very important fabric swatches. I did bring them for these cushions, so I'll touch base with you, Kelly, after the meeting.
We put it on the list for a reason. There's different requests on fabric material and color, and instead of us just picking it out, we just brought it the day, figured after the meeting, you could take a look and pick out maybe the best color that matches, since we have orange walls and orange carpet and different colors in this room. So they're gonna be made locally here, so fairly quick turnaround time. Our plan was only to do the first 2 pews on each side and add 2 if we needed to. So
Oh, here?
yes, yeah, they're for here.
Mhm.
Oh,
Because we're getting, yeah, these orange cushions, probably are original, so it's probably time for them to vacate.
So very important item.
okay.
We put it on there so we won't forget.
So they're orange, not burnt sienna.
Oh, I like that.
That's, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought these were upgraded walls, the burnt sienna color.
Burnt sienna.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys have already lost me, so.
Yeah. Anyways, that is actually like honestly all I have, unless I'll switch out with Susan unless you guys have any other questions, facilities related. Okay,
No.
all right.
We're good.
Oops.
All right. So good afternoon, Susan Eugenius,
Ooh.
County Engineer. I thought I'd go through a couple items that are going on. The first, let's start with the set that has the orange cones on front. That is the very, very end of East Canyon View Drive. A few weeks ago, we received notification from homeowner and actually Beacon Hill Water and Sewer District, because they were working out in the area, that this landslide was occurring. We have, since these pictures were taken, that area has been tarped to help keep water off of it, and those pipes that are hanging out in the second picture redirected down to the bottom of the slope so they're not wetting the slope any further. As you can see, it's getting close to that one home. The majority of the slide is within the county right of way. So we have had our geotechnical engineer has gone out there, done a preliminary site analysis with the drone, and is going to be giving us a report on how he sees moving forward with potential repairs. So that one is underway. This happened, do you remember what date, Mike? I didn't write it down. About 3 weeks ago. So It's not blocking any traffic. It is literally end of the road, and about where Kelly's sitting from me is the distance from the end of the road, but it's creeping back towards the roadway.
So it's not impacting the road. Is there any danger to this house?
Potentially, if it keeps sliding back, and I didn't grab the picture, there's also a driveway. If you see the orange flag over in
Yeah,
the upper right-hand corner,
yeah.
that is a driveway that comes off the end of the road and goes to a
Oh, right up
single-family
there.
home.
Okay, I got you.
So
Yeah,
that is why we're looking at it concerned. If it was just a canyon, not impacting anybody, we would
yeah.
just let Mother Nature do her thing. So then the second packet of pictures that you were handed, this is out on Rose Valley Road. On late Thursday, there was a landslide. Friday, our crew went out and cleaned it up. This is way out the end. It's milepost 14 and a half. And so we got the road cleared up, but we have some concerns over some of the boulders and the slope stability. So our geotech was actually out yesterday, took a look at it. There is some concern over boulders like the one in this photograph where you can see it's up at top of the slope hanging, and what we should be doing to address those. He is getting me a memo probably next week. And for reference, the gentleman that you see in the photograph is about 6'3". Scale on the embankment and the size of some of those rocks. He's also discussing, is there's no way we can move those rocks that are sitting down towards the toe of the slope, potential ways to make that smaller and move it if that's what we need to do. So that is also ongoing. So next week on the agenda, there is a CRP which is the county road project number for the East Canyon View project. We will work up one for the Rose Valley Road 14.5. But next week, you'll just see the East Canyon View, the paperwork to get that set up on our agenda items.
And up there where this is at, that road's pretty hairy in some spots.
Yes, before you get to this spot, you go through a very narrow
Yeah.
section, and as you can, that one picture shows how curvy this is getting down into a ravine that it's coming down around a
Mhm.
curve, so.
Wow.
The good news is, there's not a lot of people that live beyond this, and as far as we could tell, because when we were out there, there's no current active logging going on right now. Doesn't mean there won't be soon, but right now, they're not logging and driving past this.
Is that why, just out of curiosity, is that why the road went out for far
Yes,
for the logging?
I'm
Yeah,
sure it went out. for
probably
the
where it
logging.
started.
Yeah, that
Those
goes,
are some pretty big rocks.
that's a main line that they haul out of.
They haul out of there.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Which is crazy because that road, I don't know how they get trucks down that road. It's pretty nasty.
Yeah. So how do you move those big rocks? Do you get to blow them up, Mike? If you do, I want to be there.
We discussed in the office about someone pushing a button.
We'll have a commissioner meeting out there.
Yeah.
So those are our two exciting active slides right now. If you have no other questions, we'll move on to, this is private roads. So following the direction of the board and following through with the changes that are being enacted in the short plat code, this draft memo is how we're amending the design standards to address the short plat change. This draft memo will also be on the agenda the day the public hearing is to be presented to
Yeah.
the board and adopted after the hearing, so it can go
After
in
the
place
public
that
hearing.
day.
Yeah, okay.
So I just wanted to bring this to you guys, see if you had any questions or concerns of this language. I worked through this with Doug Jensen. He says this should cover all of our needs, adding that type D private driveway and access road to our standards so that the others will not apply to it.
This may or may not be a question for you with regards to this, but this is, it's for, roads accessing, is it 4 or less lots?
Yes, 4 or less
Yeah.
lots.
Okay. What happens if, how does it break down if we have an individual who owns adjoining multiple lots and they want to subdivide those, but because of this code right here, say one business owns the first lot, second LLC owns the second lot, and they develop the whole thing. And is that a way around this? You understand what I'm saying? Do they have to
I,
meet this?
I understand what you're saying. So if they're in separate ownerships under separate LLCs, it is my understanding, because building and planning is the one that interprets that if it's a separate ownership, then the long subdivision wouldn't apply because they're doing a short plat here, a short plat here, and they're different ownerships. So by doing the separate ownerships, they could do 4 lots here, 4 lots here, and not have to develop the larger road. But building planning is the one who decides that. My public works items, unless you had something for public works.
Good.
Good. Want me to
Okay.
touch on that last one a little bit?
Please, yes, if you'd like
Yeah.
to, sir.
Yesterday I had one of the fire commissioners from, is it Fire District 3 out there?
I put 3 on there. I didn't check. that,
Yeah,
but I
fire
think
di- it's
for-
out in
for
Tootle. Call me and ask, been a long time, they've been working with WashDOT as you head through Tootle by the school there, it goes from 50 to, I think, down to 35, and they have a lot of people that never slow down, so they're always trying to figure out ways to make that do better. So there's a group that's been working with WashDOT, and one of the things WashDOT has agreed to do is to put up one of these speed radar signs, like, I'm assuming like you go into Castle Rock from Huntington, you see it, there it starts flashing and tell you what you're doing. And by the school, in hopes to slow it down, and the state of Washington has agreed to do this, it will cost, at a cost of $10,000. His question to me was, the fire district has 4,000 they're donating to the project, the school has 3,000 they're donating to the project. They wanted to know if the county could help make the difference. So I got on the phone with Mike, and I think Mike worked with Sean, and they feel like we can do that, but I didn't want to, we want to make sure you had a chance to look at this thing before we move
Yeah.
forward with it.
Yeah, I read through it. It's good.
Yeah, it won't be through our roads program, but Sean had some other options for funding that.
Yeah.
Yes. Since it's not on a county road, on a state
Right.
highway.
Yeah.
But we have other
We
options for
think we
that.
can help them out there
Correct.
and do a little bit. So as long as we're good with that,
Yeah.
I just kind of, I'll give you the guy's name and number, and you just want to take it from there.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. It probably helps also during this, also the school zone in the same area for that
Yeah.
section of highway, so.
You know, I'd get calls every so often from Mr. Drew, and yeah, I know he was working with WashDOT. Can we get a roundabout? Can we get, different things? And I know they're working on graduated speed downs from like the 45 and then to 35. They're just trying whatever they can, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get that number from you later.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? I have at 2:30 today, when we had Department of Ecology and we talked about the natural gas project with the PUD.
Mhm.
And our question to Shauna and Babak was, if they could help, we'd like to keep that moving forward. So they've actually been working on that. And today, it's pretty short notice, but I have, 2:30 and I think Sean Savannah are sitting in on it. Okay. He's been working with the governor's office, and so you might have the governor in on this team's meeting, and I think we reached out to PUD to see if they can pop in, and we're gonna try and move that forward a little bit, so we'll see what happens, but my hat's off to the people from Ecology, which
Yeah.
some people might be surprised I say that, but my is off to them and their work on that, and so I appreciate them getting it this
Mhm.
far. Still don't know if it'll happen, but we'll give it a shot.
That's good.
Yeah, we appreciate the effort. I know there's a lot of time and money's been spent mainly on the PUD side, but also county funding to get this
Yeah,
far. So,
you know, the big thing is, PUD has to be happy, right? Our part in it is fairly small compared to what they're gonna be putting in, but
and Sean and I had a chance we met with PUD, the same players about 3 weeks ago, and there was still interest on both sides of pursuing this, maybe one last effort with the state and Ecology to see if there's any changes in the requirements, to see if we can get this project off the ground. So, I think our agreement's past date, so we're looking at maybe drawing up a new agreement, with PUD for maybe the next year,
Yeah.
and see what we can get moving forward with Ecology in the state.
okay. And since we have time, I'll touch on one other thing that I talked about yesterday, and I keep harping on this TIF, but I had a conversation with Jennifer Keane yesterday, and you can imagine that was not a smooth conversation. And I thought about it over the night, and what I want to be clear on is, you know, from her being kind of upset with me, well, not more than just kind of upset with me. I want to say, we want them to develop their stuff. It's not a thing where we're saying you shouldn't develop your stuff. Our complaint is with the way they want to fund that is just don't think it's right that you take it from others. You need to be we couldn't give that money to a developer and say, hey, we're going to help you build this. You get into all kinds of gifting of public funds. And then to take it, and my colleague had the point yesterday, then we're competing against private enterprise, and I don't think that's right. And so that's my beef with this. It's not that I don't want, you know, her stuff was kind of emotional and you don't want us to do stuff down here, and that's not true. We want to see it develop down there, and we want to see him be prosperous, but I can't live with that kind of funding where it takes from the other entities. If that starts one, there'll be two, there'll be three, there'll be four, and then how do we deal with all that budget pressure and the effects on the taxpayers? And that's my concern. It's not that I don't want them to build. Told Kelly I can never let that stuff go, so then I don't sleep. We needed a coffee bar before I come in here today. But when I think back, you know, that's really, I kind of heard that through the deal, and I said, if I conveyed that, I don't want to convey that because I want them to do well. So with that, unless there's anything else, we'll keep you short today. Some of you going to hang around till 2:30, okay? Okay, perfect. We will adjourn. Thanks.